'Tis I, Zen. There's you. Get my camera set up here. And yeah, good morning. It's a little overcast and rainy today. Quite rainy, in fact. I got woke up twice with emergency alert system. Where they tell you there's gonna be rain. Even though I'm certain that I turned these off because I don't really care. I don't really like what like the emergency alerts will come through like on every phone, or basically like if the sky is gonna fall, that's the one they give you. But anyways, yeah, so it went off like twice. I'm like, why is this going off? Like, it's storming. I was like, oh, I could hear that because it was loud. I was like, oh, it's raining. I was like, yeah. I looked out my window. I was like, it's flooding. I was like, yeah. I live in New Orleans. There's always water in the streets. How you gonna do? Anyways, hi, good morning. Always do the liking and subscribing thing, and you know how to donate because that's what I do. That's in the description box beneath. And you also get a hold of me for one-on-ones and things like that. What's up? What's going on, man? I want to talk about implicit trust. I want to talk about Egypt, America. I want to do a whole bunch of different things. I think I'm gonna, as I usually do, I'll do like smash like 6 shows into one, and then over the next few days I'll explore each one of these things again. But yeah, what was the title of this show that I made? Who do we trust? All our heroes are dead. Yes, and benefits of dummies. And I don't really mean dummies per se. Let's see if I can adjust because I'm getting a little bit of a kind of funny little glare right there. What's up, Claire? A little glare. That'll be alright. Let's see. Where's that coming from? It's coming from over here. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I think it is coming from upstairs. So you guys gotta. This is what happens. I don't have a whole production studio. I don't got people over here working on my makeup and my lighting, so I got to do it all real time. Yeah. I'll tell you why first, and what I've noticed just recently, and this happens all the time. There's a few channels that I like, and I'm not going to dislike the channels. And this is a conversation I was having with someone a couple weeks ago online, where they were kept saying like, you realize like it's all like all of these people are controlled opposition. Da 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 da. I was like, so you mean like don't listen to Manly P. Hall, don't listen to Terrence McKenna, don't listen to I just went to this list of people, and I was like, it just sounds strange that you're gonna throw everything out that they say. Well, there's a couple of channels that I'm pretty familiar with, and they said something so incredibly mind-numbingly stupid during their shows, or something, yeah, like just shit that I just go, huh? It made me take it back. Not about the other things that made sense, but like, how dumb are they? Like, or are they literally like part of the whole thing, like bought and paid for, or completely dumb as fuck? And I was like, damn, was I really listening to a dumb fuck this whole time? And I'll tell you what happened. I don't like to use names. You can figure out for yourself if you must. One person's super popular. And no matter what I did, I didn't really have a say in the game of if I really thought he wasn't part of a bigger, maybe bot, maybe a bot. Well, could be, perhaps. The bigger channel, he's already extremely popular, and he's apparently came down with the Roners, which to me would normally just go, oh, how can you be that dumb? Because what he's into is archaeology and hidden history, and like he's doing some really next level stuff, like getting into an alternative history. So like I really dig his work. I really dig him. Think he's an authentic dude. But I was like, how can you be that? That's what happened. He's sitting there doing a show, just normal. He's like, I've got the thing, and I'm like, oh. I was like, so how do you research and dig that much in that, but you don't even know what's going on over there with that? So is that gonna not authenticate everything else he said? No. Now these other channels, perhaps one person I didn't realize was completely. He still thinks the Earth is not. He still thinks it's spinning through space. And then he had said something that was so mind-numbingly just basic that I'm just like. And then I took to my early statements I'd given to people about you should always listen to someone's sound of their voice, and if there's something that's off with it, there's something wrong with them. This is called your voice of God. You're a trumpet of God. The names in the Bible: Mike Il, microphone. Your Mike Il, Dan Il. The archangels, the ILs, okay, the L's. Anyways, it should resonate something. There should be something there, and it should make sense to you. It should vibrate correctly in your ears. It's unification there. Anyway, so I'm listening to this dude, and I've liked this channel for a while. And then he said something that was so dumb. Somebody's like, in the comments, like, hey, make a video about mud floods and stuff. He's like, oh, so he makes a video about mud floods, and then he makes some ridiculous statements. I'm like, how does somebody just tell you to make a video on something that you don't even look into, that's not even your thing, that you're into all these other things, and then you make a video on it and say something so incredulous and incoherent and silly that it really put a whole entire damper on, like, oh, his channel pretty much to me is now 100% dog shit. I used to listen to him, and now I just like, I can't. I just literally probably couldn't listen to him say another word. Now, I think maybe because he didn't really have original thoughts to begin with, and then couple that with, well, he really doesn't. He thinks the things, but then okay, yeah, I guess. He looked into that. Oh no. Then he's making videos on things he doesn't know the first thing about, and then makes just silly, dumb claims, things that just don't about the mud floods. Basically, just saying, oh yeah, that's of course this is how they make houses, and this is like, no, that's not. I've built houses. I understand. You can look at these pictures of what's going on here. They're digging down 3, 4. Look up Salt Lake City, Utah. Look at those temples. You'll see some pictures. Look up all over the world. There's like floors beneath with doors and windows. It's no, Russell Brand. No, Russell Brand has always been on my top tier list of excellent people. I don't care that he's obviously being that big. He's part of something. He's part of the cabal. But I'm very interested in his thoughts and ideas because he's too articulate and he's a comedian. That's not coming out of stupidity, what he says. I take, there's a couple things I probably don't agree with, but I really enjoy his perspective and his, the way he presents work. So no, I've always enjoyed Russell Brand. No, he's not that big. That's not what I'm talking about. What's this? Herbs benzos. Do I worship? I worship nothing. I'm in no ship of war. But we are going to talk about American gods as related to Egypt, America, the Nile, the great rivers coming together. We'll talk about this in a second. But no, I don't worship any deities. My only deity is my diet, meaning the things I consume, and even at that, I don't worship them, whatever it is, whether it's coffee, a beer, an icon, worship no false idols, or even have no false idols. That's in every religion, even Hindu. They don't worship those as separate deities or entities. They see them as an amalgamation of energies in certain specific areas of their life. Gods, and with a small g, to this type of energy. They don't worship it. They might say the word worship, but maybe they don't understand completely. It's a ship of war, and that's not what they really mean. Nonetheless, no, I don't. There you go. But we will get into American Gods here in a second. What was that? Was I just going off on before the Russell Brand thing? Oh yeah. So here's what you learn about people. Like when people make these really incredulous claims, you go, oh, now I can implicitly trust this person that I don't like anything they say. If here's how I explain it. Some people are like, I don't trust that person. Like, yes, you do. You've just told me that you trust that person. See? They go, what do you mean? I just told you I don't trust that person. I was like, well, what don't you trust them to do? Or what do you trust? Like, what don't you trust them to do? Well, that person I think that person is gonna steal something from this place, this shop, whatever. I was like, so you trust them to steal something? See? So that they do trust them. So the implicit trust is hinged to not trusting something. You can't say you trust someone. You can't trust someone completely to do everything. That would be too much. No one could be everything you trust them to be. But you can trust in someone that they'll be like something. They'll have this kind of it's almost like what would their response be to this? What would they do in this environment? You can figure that out. You could trust a fish not to swim on land and grow legs and become a human. you could trust you know what I'm saying? You could trust a rhinoceros not climb a fern tree. You could trust these things. You could trust. You know what I'm saying? So you trust it. You trust a thief to steal. You trust a crackhead to smoke crack. Implicit trust. So when you find somebody that says idiotic things, you're like, I'll trust them to say dumb shit. So I can't really. I keep no value in their word towards these types of issues. And so that's what I've noticed a lot through it's so glaringly obvious in the truther unquote communities and all of those woke BS bullshit, whatever the fuck. That they're just saying, they're spewing nonsense, or they let their fake ego get ahead of them, not their real ego, their fake ego. What they want to be. Oh my God, I have an audience and I have people listen to me, and this is what I do. That gets ahead of them, and they just start spewing off things. Well, this sounds right. People like what I have to say. They trust in me. Don't trust in man's words. Verify it for yourself. But these people out here just say whatever, and some of them are probably, if their paycheck relies on them not knowing something, they're not going to know it. But as soon as they do, then you just go, whoosh, oh, I know exactly what that is now. Thank you, and you can appreciate that. Sometimes a lesson costs you money, right? You gamble somebody and they're better than you. You've learned your lesson. Don't gamble a person like that, right? Or whatever it is. We'll get into American Gods here in a second. So you guys, as you do know this, this is what I do. If you guys want to donate to me, because I'm A, either highly entertaining, B, funny, C, intelligent, or D, you can be just because you like to donate to people. Feel free, that'd be awesome. And if you ever need my time one-on-one for any health-related or otherwise issues, you can always holler at me. Theo Luminous. I don't think I put it beneath, but it's Theo Luminous at Gmail. Theo meaning God, Luminous meaning light. That's my Gmail. You get at me. And you can donate through the other things. And you can always just, after the show, be like, yo, Zen, I need help with something. But I don't necessarily get all of those, so. Blah. There's my commerce section. That's not really commerce. It's my begging and pleading for money so I can have a roof over my head. and a beer. What's up, Retardicus? I'm doing good, man. That's very funny. You just said Thundercats. Yeah, I was just listening to the album by Thundercat. You know Thundercat? Go listen to the album. I guess it won some Grammys. Go listen to that. It's pretty good. Oh, thank Herbs Benzo. I would say listen to, well, urine therapy definitely will help. That will balance out a lot of the chemical distraught you'll have. but the emotional because of finances won't help. The finances will come after you're balanced by drinking the piss that you can think better. But in the interim, I would probably, while you're processing, consider the thought and do what Alan Watts says. Think about it. Everyone has. Think about what it would be to go to sleep forever and never. It's an idea. Children think about death all the time. It's not an uncommon thing to think that this life is not worth it. I mean, consider. I mean, what's the option, right? Are you certain here? I'll give it to you this way. Are you certain that when you wake up in the next life, because you will, is going to be better than the position you're currently in? Is it going to be better? That's what is it, a coin flip, or are we talking energetics here? If you're talking energetics, I don't know, man. I would try to spiral in the other direction, because if it's a downward spiral and you're just like, fuck this, maybe fuck this gets you, holy shit, well, that was silly. I don't know, man. There's the whole it's greener on the other side, the silver lining to all that. I mean, I think it's just hyperbole and silliness, but certainly, everybody, the same wind blows upon us all. There's bullshit we all step in, man. Realize that there's no one that if someone tells you that they've never considered such things, they're insane. That person is literally insane, and they probably do a lot of prescription drugs to avoid such obvious thoughts. That any great writer, any great musician, any great poet, any great artist, any great engineer, I don't care whatever field of arts, sciences, or otherwise you're in, these are parts of your life, man. It's just a passing thought. I would listen to Alan Watts. Alan Watts is always very soothing and calming to me. His ideas on things. I would do that. And obviously, if you're not familiar with it, Shivambu Kalpa. Start drinking your piss, yo. That definitely adds a lot of serotonin to your system, balance chemicals out, brighten your day up. I know plenty of people. I know plenty of people that are homeless, houseless, and they're not necessarily unhappy. They don't have finances coming in on a regular basis. They hustle. They do. I mean, they don't have like major league hustles, but they do some shit here and there. They get by, and they're cozy. They're as happy as I see normal people that have 9-to-5s making, 6 figures. I know people that make a lot of money that, they ain't joyful. They're not. They probably have considered such things more often than somebody in financial, as a destitute poor child, like as a. Oh yeah, burp God in the building. Yeah. Throw them burps out there once in a while. And we will get into this African American thing, this African American nonsense. Yeah, man. There you go. In every problem, there's always the solution bound to it, and also there's always loops and workarounds, and depending on what finances it is, man, you can always, like, if it's that, just claim bankruptcy. It's a very, go listen to John Levi's thing on it. I mean, that would be the quickest way to understand it, and then there's other people that can teach you about, like, commerce, business, and all that. Just claim bankruptcy, start a new business. It's pretty simple. You literally just done. Just call it. They just go, fine. They don't care. It literally, you're taking it emotionally where the numbers and the systems don't give a shit. Why do you think rich people are rich? Because they diversified their bonds with different business entities. And those different business entities are all literally corpses. They're corporations, meaning bodies. They're entities that exist. And if one goes dead, doesn't mean the other dies as a currency generator. Just like your body. You're good. Those things are separate things. Your finances are a separate thing than you completely. Your energetics of your internal body, that's yours. You got to work with that. Those are all separate. But again, claiming bankruptcy is who cares? Plenty of people do. Just open a new business. They could give two shits. They're not judging you. You know what I'm saying? You just, in the past they would have called them shell corporations. Now you just open up. I would listen. Open up if you're going to. People tell you 504s, corporations. You got 504Cs. You got no. Open up a nonprofit, or more specifically, a not-for-profit. Not-for-profit is a better idea. That means you can make a profit, but it's not your goal. You can open, and another thing is to open up a religious organization. That's probably religious, not for profit, and start from there. And there's and you basically clean balance sheet. Corporations come and go. They don't give a shit. I'm telling you. They're not sitting there like, ooh, somebody didn't pay the bill. It's just ones and zeros on a computer. They could give. They don't care. I mean, really, like, how do you remember back in the day? I don't know when you grew up, but I remember back in like the early '90s when people were like, oh, Donald Trump was broke. Donald Trump, he just claimed bankruptcy. No, he didn't. One of his corporations did. He had multiple other corporations. He closed and bankrupted one of the corporations. If you said that, do you know how many corporations that Bush drove into the ground because he didn't know how to run a business? The second one, it's not the senior, the junior. But the thing is, who cares? Open up another business. That's all you do. It's a corporation, not-for-profit, religious corporation. That's the way to do it. It's a separate entity, and you can open up many of those. That's what I'd suggest. That's not even a workaround. That's just fucking done with it. Cool. Crash a car, get a new one. That's basically it. That's what people have been doing for a long time. That's what we do on a spiritual level. Crash this body out, go back into the spiritual realm and be like, so how was that? Did you want to go back and next time maybe take care of the body a little better so you're not like limping around? Yeah. Okay, cool. You want to go back now? Well, I'm up here. I'm good for a second in the spiritual realm. And then you go back down and yeah. What do they do here? People just drive around fancy cars, crash and get a new one. What do they do? Got a business, they don't know how to run it. They learned a couple things. Next time they start a business, hopefully they don't make those mistakes in business. I see people with shitty businesses all the time they're literally making, they get by, they make good money. But I'm like, they could just do just a couple tiny little tweaks and they'd make a shit ton of money. But their business is an outpouring of their own their own internal feng shui, their own internal balances. Oh, and again, it's free to just hit the like button because this is already, I can tell, going pretty well for people. Liking is easy. Donating might be a little harder for people. Actually, donating is very easy. You just hit the Cash App or the PayPal. I don't know. Maybe I make it easier to link for you guys. What else do we want to get? So we got through the interesting trusts and bonds and corporations and entities, and okay, that all works into that title of the show. We got through All Our Heroes Are Dead, which are both one is a song, one is an album title. One was Ari the Rugged Man, the other was Locksmith. And then we're going to get into American Gods and America being the actual original Egypt and a place called Cairo, or Cairo, however you like to say it. Cairo. There's a Cairo in Illinois. There's a Cairo in Egypt. And both of them are the meeting places of two rivers. And before in this land, America, meaning Rika means rich, Ame means soil, so America means rich soil. So Africa means rich, and then I don't know. It's kind of wobbly what the AF was for. Um, but the Mississippi was the. There's a lot of evidence that would suggest that America was the original Egypt, considering how deep the pyramids are here. We're up; those are above ground, which is proof that it's on the same level. It's on everything's on the same sea level. That if they're buried a little deeper there, it was actually in America. It was further back in history, and the people here, what you'd call only due to the last 42, 43 years of the census, they put African American. That was never on there prior. There was different names. It's gone through different names from Negro to Black to there was a bunch of different names, and that's only a new way of trying to separate the people that were Aboriginal or original, however you like to say that. Some people say Aboriginal is correct. People that were more original to the land, that'd been here longer, separate them from their identity and from their land by using, there's so many ways of explaining how they did it, but nonetheless, the people that were here, the tribes, natives, you call them Aboriginal or indigenous, the Indian, those people, redskins to red to melanated brown skin, all in that kind of category. They called themselves the people of the Nile. The Mississippi was called the Nile River, according to some of the lore. And now it's in Egypt. But if you look here, there's a bunch of places. How is there Memphis there and there's Memphis here? Which one came first? Did it come second? Are we sure? Are you really sure about that? Are you really sure that the Cairo here wasn't first before the Cairo there? Are we certain of this? I mean, and going down through and how it looks and where the towns are set, people came from there, here? Because the people here don't look like the people there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, those people, they're here later. Later in the story, there's much less of those kind of people here, but there's this kind of people there. Everything is backwards. Everything is opposite. Everything. I have to make a point about saying this. When everything, and I mean everything you learn is either completely false, a false narrative, or it's backwards. It's flipped. It's in reverse. Name something and it's the opposite of what you think. Black actually means white. White actually means black. Black, the word, comes from bleach. Bleach means to bleach something, to pull its color out. Black people were white people. White people were white. Gets into wits and wats, which means a demon or colored, blackened something. So this is when they did the book burnings in America, right around 1940s. This happened. What do you know about that? They'll tell you all you want to know about the book burnings at Alexandria. But that's a story too. Nonetheless, what we can see here is there are all sorts of ancient land masses. We can see all sorts of evidence anywhere you go, without question. Well, that's just the popular overarching term is mud flood and Tartaria. That's the two overarching terms that people use these days. So, yeah, American gods and these people that lived here. I mean, it goes into so many different things that hinge off of the idea of the knowledge being given is disguised in some way. Maybe it was hidden for a good reason. You had to decode it. Maybe some of it was done on purpose. Like hiding something is a good thing. Sometimes people hide things for nefarious purposes. Sometimes people hide things like Easter eggs and things for fun, and because hey, the right person will find this. You can play the game either way. I don't know. I think both of those things exist. What are you gonna do? So the information, nonetheless, the language was mangled and turned. It was turned even the Babel, the Bible that tells you about the Tower of Babel. And if we understand the word Babel is people just babbling on because they don't understand the foundation of the word overstand to see the foundation from above, and then to make the foundation, and then stand inside the building, have an inner standing about it, and then have an outer standing of things. You can credit me with that one. Everybody else got that inner over and understanding. How about outer stand? That's a different thing. Anyways, so this information that was buried within the syntax and the way that we use language. Think about it this way. I'll show you here. Here's something else that's completely backwards. In English, the way we speak, we'll say the dog ran. So what we're giving you here is that the noun, a physical object, came before the action. Other languages, the action comes before. Ran did the dog. Okay? Think about the way that Yoda spoke. Why did he speak that way? Because he was speaking properly. He was speaking properly. Why is that? Because if the universe is as we think it is, it's metaphysics. There is no physical object per se. It doesn't exist. So a dog can't do the running, just like you can't do the thinking. The thinking that's going on does a you. The running, that is what you see as the dog. So the object can never do the action. If the action or the thought or the what brings forth a manifestation of anything is the light of God, that thing, whatever that is. We can't, it's undefinable. It's that empty space. It's the source of creation, all of that bullshit. It's obviously not bullshit, but here it is bullshit. Honestly, go put a seed out in the bullshit and watch what grows. Or just let this bullshit sit there. And obviously you got mushrooms on it. Aren't those tasty? So everything is backwards. Slaves were white. Slavic slaves. Where did they all come? To Ellis Island. Who was coming to Ellis Island? White people. What do you think they became? They came here and they became indentured servants. The whole narrative and the whole history is completely ass backwards. Where people were being shipped to from and in what way? Not from there to here. From here, did people come from Africa to here? Certainly, but from a different route and for a different reason. And were there people? But the people here were not from there. People ask people that are native and ask people from Africa. They're like, those aren't my people. They're like that. We respect each other, but that's not my clan. That's not my tribe. I don't know those people. Africa's a continent. You have countries within there. It's a big place, right? It's like you say someone's Indian. You're from India. India's huge. Do you know how many different states and you got the northern Indians, and you got the dark southern ones, and then you got even in there, Indian people were mad racist to other Indians. The ones that were crossbred with the hybridized with the white British, and then you got the darker ones. Yeah, crazy, right? Everything's backwards, man. I'm telling you. And so yeah, the term African American is come mad late to the game. It's all done by the Census Bureau. Like, who are they? What purpose? Who are they serving? Many people ask themselves that. Like, for what purpose? I mean, I get it, understanding the resources on the planet, but like, if you're looking at humans as resources, that's not really looking at people's value as my life. I'm a person. I'm a being. I'm a sovereign soul. I have value. Like, it doesn't look at things like that. Everything is just one unit objectively, and it's of this thing, and it's cut from this, and that's what it is. And so we know how many apples are here. They've got 62 apples over here, and we've got 100 people. That's not going to feed them all. We're going to need one more apple. I get that. Mathematically, it kind of works out, but if you really understood it, some people are going to need to eat 3 apples. Some people don't even like apples. And it becomes very complex. The rivers, well, are you talking about the 2 rivers that came together? I was not saying it in that way. I was saying, like, quite literally, in America, where the 2 rivers come together. Look at where Cairo is in Illinois. It's the Mississippi and the Ohio, was it Ohio? Mississippi and Ohio. It's where they meet. And in Egypt, it's the Nile and something else. Yeah. So interesting, the people that lived here, why would they have called themselves that when they didn't come from there? Because that was older than the history we're given of when apparently they were just throwing people on ships and just dragging them all over here. That's an insane story. The technology and the how many of them would have died? I mean, scurvy, the puking on each other. Like, how's a couple white dudes getting 200 strong black men on a ship and not not buying it? And most people that are into their heritage and history of this land say that that's not even close to the truth too. And it's you can't the math doesn't work out in any way. Well, who's making all these ships? Who's building all these ships to sail all these people? But there were ships made and people did come here. But the way they came is very much like the orphan trains. We started getting when the orphan trains are, and we get into the underworlds, and that's another big fun story that we can discuss. As I told you, we have like, I don't know, six or seven different ideas to try to jam into this, and then we'll spread it out over a couple more shows. Yeah, Skull. Well, the Statue of Liberty, you have to understand the Statue of Liberty can't be on land because liberty is not given to someone that is a person of the earth. It's given to people on a ship on the sea. Liberty is what you give to a seaman. You give them liberty to go onto land. That's what liberty means. You may go upon the land. This is why they can't put the statues on the land, because they have to make an island, and it's made on a fake island. At least here, that's how they do it. In America, they had to make a fake island, so it's not real land. And then they come to port, and the captain says the seamen may have liberty to go upon the land, and they come in, they dock, and then they say, "Dock, can I let my people from the ship off? Can I give them liberty?" And the guy at the dock, the doctor, how many? Well, how many do you have coming across? How many? Okay, you got 100. That's your manifest. The manifest destiny. What is the manifest of the ship? If you ever worked at an airport, an airline, if you ever worked for a shipping company, you have a manifest, and it tells you the weight, the amount of. Same thing as when you go to a dock. You go to the dock with your shipping container, or with your luggage and your passengers, which is luggage for the thing. It's cargo. Cargo manifest. What do you have? Same thing as the doctor does. Come to the place of birth, where they dock. It's all encoded. And can I give my men liberty here? And the dock can refuse. It didn't really happen. It wasn't happening for many reasons, but here you go, have liberty. Still was part and parcel of the vessel at the sea. So they brought maritime admiralty upon the land. For those people that were still bonded and connected to the ship, basically having the umbilical still attached while they're walking. Just telling you, it's just how it works. Which gets into indentured servitude, freemen on land, and all of those kind of things. So it's a differentiation. Cairo. The second one, Cairo. It's the exact same spelling. Native Americans might be fake, imported from the Philippines. There's a big influx, Skull, of people, like the cultures and ideas of what you considered the Aztec, the Mayan, and the size of the people, and then the size of people from Laos and the Philippines, and then the hoodoo and the voodoo and the magic and all of this. There is an influx of and the magic that's the Islander type magic, and what comes into, say, through the Floridas and New Orleans and into Houston, all through here, is kind of through those islands, but you know, get the Barbados and all of these islands. There's a connection there, but I don't know that the Native American thing is faulty. They were part. They were. If you look at them, they're very close. They're very similar. The difference with the Native Americans, like, okay, here's the connection. If you look at the language and the people from Thailand, and then you look at the people from the Mayans and the Thailands, if you look at them, they're both like 5'2", and their language is basically night and day languages. They're saying the same thing, and so their word for night means their word for day. They look exactly alike. So there's that, and then but the natives were much taller, much bigger. So they seem like, you know, they could have been closer to the giants, or at least a half breed of giants and Mayan. Or it could be through, like you say, it could be from the Philippines. I'm sure there's quite a bit of influence, considering if you really want to get into blood typing and what the certain blood types are. You can tell people's prominent blood type will tell you probably where they're from. Like, I won't tell you what mine is, but most people would say I look many different things. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they're like, "You're white." I was like, I don't think you're right. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Many things would say I'm not. Whatever white means. Like, do I have Slavic in me? I'm sure. But there's other things, other key pointers that would say no, including my blood typing. Which was very funny, because after I found out what it was after someone said that I was connected to something else that I don't look like at first until I get a tan. But which would kind of go into proving your Filipino your Filipino descendancy. Well, hey, Ninja Turtle, what's up, man? Hey, thank you for the duckets the last couple days. Thank you, Ninja. What's up, Black Sun? Cosmic Sapphire. I think maybe you or someone else has asked me about this before. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a great idea, because you also have the thing with the tarot cards. While I know they're wildly in the correct category, it still takes the diviner or the person that's doing the reading to decode them. And if you have someone that doesn't know what they're doing, or someone that can give you a false interpretation, you'd have to have somebody that was really, really into it, or really, like, you know, basically out of it, like on some you know, some psychedelics, you know what I mean, or somebody that was like really fasted, and somebody very connected to the astral realm. They could kind of verify a few things. But if you just had a standard person try to verify these things, somebody that even can read tarot or oracle cards or whatever, I don't know that most people I would give that much credence. Although I'm very certain of divining using tarot cards. I'm certain of it. Black Sun, is witchcraft satanic? No, not at all. I mean, but then if you want to go further into, you'd have to define, what do you mean by satanic? Are you connecting satanic to Luciferian? Are you saying satanic means anti-God? Are you saying, you know what I mean? There's so many ways of saying it, but in the easiest way, no. Witchcraft deals with it would be the same thing as being Hindu and having deities. It'd be the same thing as being Christian and having Christ. It doesn't matter what religion. They all have something that they put energy into as an entity that they believe in. And in the form of witchcraft, they use different pagan idols. Pagan idols are very much near Hinduism, in the sense that same thing as Egypt, like the kind of gods that they look to, that they can actually probably interact with. Hinduism and Greek mythology too. Those things exist. Did they walk the earth? Perhaps. They might even, you know, turn them into egregors, if not god forms. But it's no different. So witchcraft, no, I don't see it being that way. Is everything satanic in a way? Well, if you're saying satanic in the way that it means earth, yes, everything is. But if you say, is everything Luciferian? Does that mean everything is lit was lit by the, the Eastern Star and all of this? Like it's the light of the world, that kind of thing. There's just, decoding a language. I think I know what you're saying, but no, I don't think so. It's not. If you're saying, is it evil? No. It's silly to think. What's up, Jimin? Haven't seen you in a little bit. Oh, hey, Jimin. Jimin and everybody else here that's a piss drinker. I'm trying to put this documentary together pretty soon. So I want to do like some one-on-ones, and we'll just do like quick little, hi, I'm Jimin, and I drink piss. And here's all the cool things that happened to me, and here's, it's not just like, it's not going to just be for these people that think that you have to be a fruitarian your entire life and practice, like every day, just like people. I just want to put together a group of people that have had interesting different experiences that are, I don't know, intelligent, perhaps okay looking, that don't look like dummies. I drink pee. All those people out there like that they do documentaries on. It's always that one idiot that's like, I have a strange addiction, and they have like 60 cats around their house, and like they're looking like, death. So I want to do it on Shivambu and water in general, and do kind of a water documentary. Sound like fun? Do you want any part of that? Great, I'll count you in. Awesome. Anybody else wants to, holler at me. That'd be awesome if you want to. If you don't want to, fine. Keep to yourself then. The Phoenicians, see? Well, I mean, why do you think hooked on phonics, right? Phoenician? How do you speak something? What's up, Carson? Carson? A math debater? That's funny, Carson. Craft meaning a boat. Yeah, it's your ship, your boat, your craft. How do you? It's like an ark. Your car is an ark. Is a boat. Is a craft. If people when you decode it and just see the similarities, you say temple. It's a house. It's your temple. It's a building. It's an ark. A car gets you somewhere. It's an ark is a car. It's a containment vessel of something. A craft. Your car is a craft. It's a spacecraft. It's a boat. What do they call it? Chris crafts. If you're on the ocean, you got a Chris craft. You got all these different kind of boats. They're crafts. And crafting is also to make something. Which would you recommend for wickedness? I like he said recommend. Well, that would be a wily wabbit if I would knew one. Which would a witch is which? What? Which would a witch craft? Which if a witchcraft could craft witch? Yeah, that's great. What's up, Avro Man? Ether, space stations, no digestive systems active. That's interesting. That would make sense. You said something that made complete sense as soon as I read it. Yeah, you'd have to be outside of having any sort of ingestion, and like if you think about it, if there was a space station, could you really go out to the space station and be taking dumps in space? I mean, you ever see those silly videos of them like, hey, we're in a spacecraft, and they're like doing all these weird things? I'm like, why? Where's everything is like out in the open? Like there's water there. You got like, where is that gonna go? You can't just have that floating around in there. Does that even make sense? I don't know. Weird stuff, man. Oh, got a fart. What if you got a queef? What happens? Where does this stuff go? Where does it? It's in tiny little. They just sniff their own farts all day. I think they're all fart sniffers, honestly. Just huffing farts. Oh, what's up, Ninja Turtle? I was just getting I was re-head counting how many people are definitely down because I have to come out of pocket to get the materials ahead of time, right? So I just want to make sure there's going to be enough people that makes it worth it for me. I'm not trying to go into debt and buy enough to make 20 bags, and I only have, a half dozen people that want to buy. Then I'm just stuck holding on to a dozen and change bags, and I'm out cash. What the fuck am I gonna do with those? You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure there's enough people, and I do have to purchase. If I'm making 20 bags, that's gonna cost me a little bit of money, and I still do have rent and shit to pay. So if anybody wants to donate ahead of time, don't worry. Just write in the comments like, this is to help you get the bags, and I'll put that to the side. But I mean, and also I've been pricing things out, and I pretty much got everything set for what I need to get. And it was funny because somebody sent me something the other day, and it was a box of goodies, and it gave me a couple ideas of things that I could put in there as well. Because I wanted to be able to get a big lot of things so I could get a discount. That way you guys get a discount, right? And it makes it worth me doing and putting together. Because I'm not going to do it if I'm just making it to make no money. Can't be done. Can't do that anymore. I've given too much of my time away for nothing. Well, Skull, the churches and the temples are, most of them are healing places, supposed to be healing places. They're energy temples. I did a bunch of old videos on this. This is before I even knew the extent of it, but I pretty much got it right the first time. Considering the materials they use to make it, they're capacitors, they're catheters. Cathedrals are catheters. They're energy harnessing places. And directing, and when people go in there, can balance them out. There's a bunch of reasons for them, but there was never for what it's used for. It was never to collect energy from people. You go into church now, what are they doing? They're succubusing. They're a catheter. Go to a hospital. They put a catheter to pull your blood. What do you think? You go in your church now? They're like, I need your money. They want your currency, your energy. It was the other way around. Everything's backwards. It was their harnessing from the ether, giving energy to the people that were going inside and healing and balancing the bodies. Yeah, and it was supposed to be a cathode. Yes. They just basically inverted the way that they used those things. From being in a more of an imploding ether, through that to pull energy into something to generate energy for people, and then it started going the other direction. But I think it gets inverted again. Creeps in space. Yeah. Skull. A catheter. If you go to a catheter, it pulls blood. Catheter. A cathedral catheter. A cathode. Cathars, Cathar, the Catholic. They're all very. It's the cat cult. It goes more Egypt shit, but that's too long of an etymology talk to do right now. I'm not doing that whole thing, but you get the idea. Yeah, Skull. The geometry is so perfect in those buildings. Do you know those? When you walk into a church and above the church, there's a stained glass window, and they're all different. The stained glass window is a representation of the cymatics of the standing waveform inside of the church that is happening when no one's in there. It's the radiant shape of the energy that is being held within the church because of the geometry. That is what the cymatic shape would be if you were in the harmonic effect of a silent church that you think is silent is already spitting off energy in a way that you can't see it, and that thing on the church in the front is that standing form, that standing waveform that you can't see, that is existing in a sound harmonic that is just resonant to that place. Crazy, right? And this is why they're all different in all the churches. Some of them are pretty much the same. Like if you go in, there's one in San Francisco, there's one in Germany that have almost identical, if not identical, shape to the church, and they have the same organs. And I bet it's so exactly the same that you even looked at the windows, they're going to be the same. And they could have just printed them out on a giant printer. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's multi-level to the, somewhere between magic, somewhere between technology, somewhere between techno shamanism, technological shamanism, magic. It's the whole kit and caboodle mushed into one thing. Like it was easier for them just to hit a button and print something out on a giant printer than it was to sit there and go, okay, let me go put all this energy together and manifest this thing in front of me, which certainly, but it requires a certain degree of focus, energy that you could be doing something else with. Like, well, we got 100 people come to this town, and you know how long it's going to take to make those houses? Here, let's just make this printer, and the printer will do all that for us. And here's all the houses done. I think that's so they're using just like humans, partially magic, at least the ones that know it, partially magic, partially we have to go and turn the stove on, put the thing on there, make the tea, and we're interacting physically, spiritually, and then we use technology. I'm using this. People are using phones. I don't care how, that the people are like, oh, look, technology, and they're sitting there, beep, 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 beep. I'm like, where did you get the information to say fuck technology? Oh, so you mean fuck a knife? They're sitting there using a knife. I'm like, that's a tool. That's a technology. You can't differentiate. You don't get to just say where the, of course you can use things wrong. Of course things maybe have gone too far, and we could adjust, the frequency of the piano. You can't say the piano's wrong. You can say the piano's tuning is wrong. If the piano is wrong, what the fuck? No, the piano in 440 is resonantly disharmonic. In 432, we good. So, is there something wrong with the internet? No. Is 5G terrible? No. Is it maybe slightly off the frequency it needs to be? Perhaps. Does that make 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 bad? Does it make 6 bad? Does it make 7? You don't think it's going to go that far? You don't think there's somebody on a 30? You don't think there's somebody on a 33G network system already? You don't think that exists? Of course it does. You think this system wasn't already being used? Just because they're telling you this is the new network doesn't mean. Do you remember T1 lines? Those shits were out when you were downloading pictures of naked babies. Just like the honeys. Just like, there you go. It takes 2 minutes, and all of a sudden you got some titties in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, there you go. It takes 2 minutes, and then you T-line, you there. What do you think? There's not 1,000 degrees of technology ahead of what you know as technology. They always said it's like a J curve. What you know today as high technology was for the people that were using the technology. This is what they were using 30 years ago. So this shit right here was already in place 30 years ago. And that's an understatement. So if you think of 30 years ahead, I'm not saying 30 years, you have to use it in a J curve. It means if technology 1 starts here as a penny, you have to multiply it. So the next one will be 2, then 4, then 8. That's how technology. So after 30 improvements, that's where it goes. Now you have to start here again and improve that 30 times. That's how far ahead technology is. And so we're sitting here just going, we're just dabbling around like we're using this shit. How much easier could it be? Technology is, you can't be like, these people out here like they want to go back to nature. What is it? Okay, go back to nature. Lose all of your idea of even how to create a fire. Get away from it. Don't use a lighter. Don't use matches. Go ahead. Tell me how that's gonna work. Don't use a knife. Don't take those. Get rid of those clothes. Make your own clothes. What you gonna eat? Where are you getting it from? Okay, go build your own. See, they're going to eventually have to make tools, and those tools are technologies, and they're going to advance that, and that's going to happen. It does not, people that try to get off the grid, and I always like, okay, well, what are you doing for power? They're like, well, I got these solar panels. Oh, it's solar panels, right? So where did you get those? Did you make those? The electrical wire in there with the copper and then the rubber around it? Oh, the toilet made out of porcelain? No, that was. Then you go through all this thing like, how about that hammer? Where'd you buy that from? Did you make that? Did you carve that? Did you cast the thing to hit the down the head? Oh no, you don't want to use a screw gun because that uses electricity, but you use a hammer? See, this is where people get really, obviously, should we be building buildings out of aluminum and using aluminum frames? No. Should we be building square boxed houses out of wood? Probably not. But to these people who are trying to go back to nature, go back to the I want to be this agrarian farmer, blah blah. Good. I mean, great, but don't think you just get to if you want to disassociate completely with society, go for it like that. But I don't see the draw in it. People are funny. It's a fun time. I like both aspects, but the idea that that technology is like to hold people from God, no, I don't think so. More people have different perceptions on what the all everything is. It's given them more opportunity to understand other languages, to learn new things. Technology has done. I don't see people that they just, it irks me. They're on here telling people technology sucks. I'm like, you're fucking using technology to tell people technology sucks. It makes no sense. Oh, Prince Tartaria. Carson. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, I've come to pretty stark conclusion that reality is way more stranger than fiction. I mean, you see when you have those mystical experiences that you can't. When it happens all the time, and you have these synchronistic, mystical things just on a regular day, and just something that you needed just shows up in front of you, like something that you were just thinking about, and you're like, whoa. That can happen to you a couple times. Be like, just coincidence. But then sometimes you actually like, okay, I'm manifesting this, and then it happens. And other times you're like, I'm thinking it happens, and then sometimes getting back to this idea of the American Gods and the show. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. The second season, Odin, Wednesday, Odin. He's kind of the key character in the show, and he was telling somebody that is a mere human about the gods and how powerful they are. And then he goes, but he's trying to make a larger point. And he goes, gods exist due to humans' belief in them, because without knowing or believing in them, they disappear. So who came first, gods or humans? Clearly, humans. It's only in the mind of humans that gods are created. I forget whose statement that was. That was is it Nietzsche? Friedrich Nietzsche? Who the fuck said it? It's like gods are built in the minds of men. And Odin was saying this. because he was the old god losing power to the new gods, the technocratic gods, and there was this balance of there's a war going on, but then there's like the middle ground of the human, right? It was like who the humans were believing in as an energetic source. So, the idea of creating gods, it's a human invention. They create them because they're trying to understand something. So what did the Hindus do? They created idols. Just to go, hey, just to give you a personification, or you can you can identify this animal's like this, so it gives this energy. Now, couldn't you interact with that on another realm or even here? Will it come into formation? Yeah, but you're creating it. So what else would you create? Why not create aliens, interdimensional space portals, and all of this? Why not? The Alzheimer's. That's funny. The old timers, the Alzheimer's. Yeah, the Altenheimers, the Heimans. The old timers, man. Old timers. Ugh. Yeah, I wonder about that. Like they're like what at that point, these old people, what are they doing? I mean, I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just wondering, like, if they're not there, are they literally like out their mind? They just have them on all the drugs, so they're just like space cadetted. They're living somewhere else. What are they still doing in their body? Are they just using it as an occasional portal to walk into and like give a message and then go back out to the other realm? They're just doing that until people that have like maybe Alzheimer parents or something that have like in the hospital and the kids would never listen, and they were trying to tell them something their whole life, and now they're getting old, and they're just back to repeating one word. And the person's like, I don't know what they're saying. Oh, aliens did it. Ugh. Oh, that fucking sucks, Carson. It is much stranger than fiction. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about that's very much Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard, man. I mean he taught the art through using the mind as the source, which I thoroughly agree with for many reasons. But there is something more powerful about writing it down and making a sigil and things. There's something I wouldn't say a lot more powerful, but it happens to manifest quicker because you're kind of signing it, you're intoning it, you're basically saying, certainly this is what I'm trying to do, certainly this is it. Or if you put it in your mind, even if you're certain about it, you kind of change your mind. Oh, maybe it wasn't so certain, and then you can edit it. But once you put it down, for you to unedit that, you have to make another sigil. You have to do some work to discredit the last one that you made. So if you really want something, yeah, make a sigil. That will come to fruition much quicker. a video gamma. Yeah, there you go, Jim. And you can think it, you can speak it, you can draw it. There's a lot of ways to get it to be what you want. Some people don't like talking. Perhaps I do sometimes. Sometimes I like to just sit and go, well, I guess this is happening. Sometimes I've noticed though, in order for me to get something, if I write it into a sigil, it happens. It's a quicker, stronger effect. If I draw it, but I don't draw that often, even faster. Because it's so symbolic and it takes a little more effort and you're really focused. But writing it out and sigilizing it, yeah, And the speaking, intoning works too. I think intoning works even better than speaking sometimes. Like you know when you're really focused on something, you're just like this, you're just in there like that. That you're, because you're almost imagining it. You're putting an image to something. That works. Yeah. Yeah, man, Neville Goddard, he is the best at explaining that. Yeah, like there's a hybridization of teachers that I like, and they're all over the map on who they would be. And one of them is completely crazy, dude. One crazy dude. His name is Grant Morrison. He writes comic books. I don't know if he did Superman or Batman. I forget which one. DC. I think DC Comics. And I don't know if he did the storylines or the drawings. And he does a couple of them, a couple shows on creating sigils. He's like, just do it. Just try it. See what happens. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But when it does work, you'll understand. He's like, I'm not gonna. How long is it gonna take you to make one? How long will it take you to make a sigil? Next to no time at all. Do it for something small and see what happens. And if it works, then you'll see. What's the worst gonna happen? You get something you want? Whoa. The problem is way down the line when people start trying to sigilize and create things that are not in tune with everything else going on, and then they're competing with other sigils. That's not a good idea. But that's where we've been most of the world, with these corporate enterprises in competition. That should never be that way. But that's another long talk to get into. But sigilizing something, see the well, I'll do another show on that, because there's a difference between icons, sigils, logos, glyphs. These are all different things, and how many of them should be, and runes, and how many of them should be in the public's eye all the time, and how many of them should be made, used, burnt, buried, or otherwise. There's not a lot of these symbols that are supposed to be just sitting out there on public display all the time. Do you think that every day of your life you should see like a literal symbol of Saturn, Nike, the swoosh, all of these? You think you should be seeing? You think that's supposed to be what's happening? It's an overburden and abundance on the natural landscape. Those things are supposed to be used. It's the reason that grimoires and were kept with lock and key, basically, adding to a story. It's a different thing. And there's a reason that sigils and making these hyper sigils and things, you're not supposed to just be like, here's everything's not supposed to, like, copyright, trademark, all this bullshit. It's not supposed to be like that. Granted, it's a really cool thing. Here's a group that I'm with, and here's a symbol that we've made, and this is what we represent, and if you understand it, cool. Yeah, here's a patch on your book bag or whatever. I get the value of that. But the amount that we have, like, if everybody did that, we just look around and all we would see is just symbols everywhere. Symbols everywhere, but not, people can't identify with them. We're already, head to toe in them. But I'm saying it would litter the landscape. There'd be no natural environment left. Go to New York City. What do you see? Is there a place? Is there a place there isn't a logo? Anywhere you go, there's some way they're going to try to market and logo something. Then what's what? As soon as that becomes overburdened, nothing else will fit in that space. So either they have to lay something on top of that and bury the ruins of the past, or they have to make more space and go somewhere else. I mean, most cities are, they can't, they're going to keep building upwards? Does that make a lot of sense to anybody, really? all there's land everywhere. There's empty land everywhere. Everywhere. People just go there. It's a lot more cozy. But there's that. Jimin. Hey, Jimin. Buy me some, dog. But just put a little notation that you put in a couple bucks for Zen, huh? And then down the road, I'll have my Jimin currency. If I had a pen, or just, and also hit me on the Instagram and remind me to do that, so I can look into what to do with that. Because now that I have a little bit of digital cryptocurrency, I'll start to diversify my bonds into these type things. What's up, Junior? What's up, Junie? Well. What else? I have to go collect my clothing today. I haven't got my laundry done, but foiled because it's very wet and rainy out today. So I don't know. Probably just kick it with you guys. Hold on 1 second. I have to adjust something. It has been properly adjusted. Sorry, my fan was blowing right in my face. I don't like it. Ooh, there. Oh, there. Wait a second. Is it here? Oh, it's these right here. That's what it is. Oh, is it these? Is it not those? Is it these? No, it wasn't those. Oh, it's those over there. Bastards. Just adjusting some lighting here. Okay, cool. That worked a little bit. Well, I mean, you know what? That's Jim, and that's what I've noticed all of them to be. But if you get in and get out, and it's transferable to just standard coin, then fuck it. I mean, I guess. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a sigil, and the sigil. I'll tell you what it's gonna be. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna affect it. I'm gonna make a sigil that will be for all of you to buy me, for me, whatever you would just give me because you like me today. Put it into some crypto, and then when it fucking happens, give me whatever that's worth then. Just as a thank you to me. I think that'd be really nice of all of you. And see, I don't have to go and make a sigil. I'll just say it. I'll just say it out loud. See, works the same way. Just go put a couple bucks in. Then whatever you guys know what the good shit is. See, I do this stuff. You guys do that stuff. Go and invest that shit, and let me know. Let me know when I have I don't know, a couple 10K from it, whatever. That way I can do this differently. Then I'll get the really cool shit. I'll get like a, I don't know, I'll get things to play with back here, charts and graphs and fun shit. I'll have an assistant. They'll take care of all my lighting problems. And I'm like, yes, another spot of tea, please. Well, thank you, Jim, and I always know you'd come through. All right, Michael Pollock, that's what I'm talking about. Well, speaking of beers, I'm gonna go grab myself another. Hopefully I have another beer. If I don't, this is no good. I will not be happy with myself, not thinking ahead. Oh. Ah, damn it! I foiled myself. I did not say soiled. It's just I did not supply myself with the beer that I require. I have vodka, but it's too early, and it's a dark, dingy day. So I'm not gonna sit inside and drink vodka. That's a very fucking worthless kind of day. Gonna have to make it outside somehow. I know, Jimmy. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, for real. That would be dope. We just push a button. Thank you for the beer. Just manifest that way. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I think there'll be that type of currency exchange that will happen. I mean, what would you? And you could also like you could be like, all right, well, what's that beer worth in bit? Like how many? Like that's this many bits in space of energy in this beer. I'm like, well, thank you. And you could turn that into some. You could actually send somebody like a gift that is locked. Like that's okay. That's what you get. That's a beer. That's what I'm giving you. And so you can use it, or you don't. Or you can gift it for it if you want. Or you could give somebody a beer, but it holds the energy of a beer, so you could trade that beer for something else. You know what I mean? That could be kind of slick. I don't see why it wouldn't work. Well, won't those be fun days? I certainly did. I did. Well, that's awesome. That's for me. I'm going at 10,000 per. I'm going at 10,000 of what it would be worth right now per person that fucks with me. You know what I mean? Because I assume that if someone were to come up on 10K for me, then they'd be in the hundreds of. Because who cares? Like if you once you have if you had $100,000 and somebody that helped you a lot, you're like, here's 10,000. Like, fuck it. Like, if anybody helped me out a lot, and I was like, this is a person I'd like to give some. That's nothing. That's, have 200,000. Here's 10 grand. Fucking whatever. Now, if everybody on here, oh shit, then we can start planting some major league shit out there. That way we can do some really strange things. What'd you say, Carson? You guess foreskin is 2022? Foresight. Oh shit, what is it? May what? May 8th, is it? Oh, May 10th. Oh shit, you guys. I'll just let you know if you guys want to surprise me for my day of born 42 sun things ago. It's coming up very soon. If you guys want to send me gifts, not gifts or gifs. Y'all know I'm a Gemini, I guess. That's one of the things I'm called, but soon enough. 42, that's major. That's major in a lot of things. It's the number of the universe. A lot of value in 42. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. 42 is also, if you look at Jupiter, that's a really interesting. Is that Jupiter, right? The symbol? It's a very interesting one. And also it's how many, it's the cycles for, how every planet there's a cycle that the energy comes back through. Which one is it? Carson probably knows. The Saturn? Haha, Jim, and you got a Jupiter beer? I don't know of it. I mean, Jupiter. I'm trying to think. I've had some beers, very very much planet oriented. Stardust was one of them. Plenty of Belgian beers, man. I was on a Belgian beer kick for a while. Sometimes you have like something really good. You're like, oh, I want to check out this entire style. The Belgians, the Czechs, for a little bit, if it wasn't so pricey, I really like. There's some Asian beers that I like. They're really well done, but they're super expensive. They're like low alcohol, but they're tasty. Pricey though. Okay, man. Hey, yeah, and Jim, and tell me also which ones to look into, and also tell me which wallet to get, because I got a wallet now that I got the shit figured out. I'm using the computer differently these days, so I can. Carson. Yeah, today is May 10th. Yeah. Only a few weeks away before it's a celebration, bitches. I'd feel like a real fucking pile of shit if I ordered alcohol for delivery right now. I don't know why. I think because, what day is it? Yeah, because it's Monday. Ordering alcohol on a Monday morning because it's rainy. It's kind of a pile of shit thing to do. Except for not in New Orleans. I just, Although if I do leave the house, I can go collect my clothes, which would be nice. Let me go look outside, see if it's raining still. I suppose I could take a break here, go collect my clothing, grab some beers. And then I could come back and we'll call this a show, and then we'll do another session of insanity for me, obviously, because this is insane as I get. What do you guys think? You guys, I think that'll work, because I just finished up my coffee, and it's time for a dump. Anybody in the future, if you want to, and you guys know, donations are always welcomed and highly appreciated. Cash App, PayPal, it's beneath, blah, blah, blah. And also on PayPal now, you can use crypto to donate into my crypto. So everybody was like, get a crypto thing, just do it through PayPal. And I can send you, if you don't have a PayPal, because for whatever reason, I can send you a thing that'll give you free monies. Woo. Same thing with Cash App, but yeah, have a fun day. I'm going to go and collect my clothes and a couple beers, but I will come back. Probably give me like an hour and change if you guys want to come back and join. And at that point, I will have listened to some music and watched a couple videos and have a couple new ideas. Perhaps we'll listen to some music. Who knows? But it's nice to see everybody. Well, you know what I mean. The Dragonborn. That's so funny. Hardware. Yeah, hey, let me, hit me up on the Instagram. Let me know on there, Jimin. Jimin awake. Ah, there we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Saturn. Good to see you, Junie. All right, everybody. I'll see y'all in a little bit, perhaps. What time is it now? It's 10, so maybe like 11:30 my time. Just before lunchtime. So, stay well, be weird, inspire the world. If you can't do that, make yourself a sigil that includes finding some money for me too. That's always helpful. And if you can't do that, just take care of yourself. Bye. See you soon, y'all. Toodles.